In my last video, I talked about the predilection that some people had that when they wanted to fix a central issue in their life, rather than focusing on that issue and fixing it and be better in that part of their life or in that part of their personality that they recognize as being deficient. And that's a great thing to even recognize that. Some people actually go clean slate and they become a completely different person, which I think is overcompensation and is running away from the issue. And it suggests that you might do that every time. So will you do that in every part of your life when someone upsets you? Do you just always walk away? Or do you try to get down to the issue? The rationality involved in these things is really important when you think about them. But also I wanted to talk about a very, very important corollary to this sort of changing a central issue or doing the right thing. And the blind spot that often comes when you recognize what the problem is with you. It's a really good thing when you recognize what's wrong in your life, your decisions. The blind spot that often happens is that you don't realize the consequences of that, the roots and the connected things to removing that bad trait. I'll give you an example. And also, will you be able to deal with it? Often we talk about women who like bad boys, and so they pick a nice guy. They do the right thing. They pick something healthier for them. They don't like the chaos, the unpredictability, the drama. So they pick a stable, nice guy. But they don't realize in doing the ostensibly right thing for themselves, will they be able to tolerate that nice guy? Will they find him attractive? Will they value the life with this kind of person? And this is the important thing I think is worth thinking about. How many people do the right thing but find it hard to do the right thing because they haven't looked at their own psychology, the consequences of doing the right thing? This is important. It's usually a 1-2 step. It's not just, I want to get fit. You have to be determined now to have the psychology to be the person. If you want to pick better friends, you have to value what comes with those kind of people that you like the idea of. Some people like the idea of these things, but the reality of it is sometimes it doesn't even fit in with who they are. But if you can, you need to have the psychology to be able to live your life in the direction that is better for you, not simply just choosing it and having the same personality, values, predilections, interests and reflexes that you did before, but that don't fit in to a healthier choice now. The two things might not be compatible anymore. So this is a thing that's good to consider. You choose the more responsible, healthier choice in your life, but you need to be very aware of what comes with that decision, the responsibility of the psychology to live in that environment, to live in that life, to have that kind of relationship, to have that kind of friend, to, you pick a certain job that's got a certain amount of hours, stress, lifestyle. You need to understand, can your personality and your psychology deal with that? Do you find it energizing and motivating, or do you find it tiring? We can all admit that we come across people in, say, the service industry. You go to buy something in a store and the person who's serving you, you think, why are you even doing that job? You don't have the personality for this job. This is the same thing I'm talking about when you decide to make a positive, good decision for your life. Be aware of the psychology also needed for that life to really be beneficial. Otherwise, you're butting your head up against the brick wall. If you're a person that's just gone out with strippers and drug addicts and high drama women and women with anger issues, and you're a person that doesn't like stress generally in their lives, but when it comes to females, you love that kind of female. She turns you on more than any other. So it might take a bit of training, but if you're conscious and aware of it and you're steering that ship, and as long as you don't have that blind spot of, I'll just choose this thing and I'm really annoyed at why it's so frustrating, It's because you're not looking at yourself and your psychology in relation to it. All of this stuff is a relationship with how you live, what you think about, and what you value. You don't just choose it, or you don't just avoid things. You have to have a relationship in avoiding and choosing. Put another way, you can't be passive in it. You have to be an active participant in it psychologically for you to get benefits from it. You have to think about why up until now your relationship with it was complementary with who you are. What do you need to face in your psychology to make those bad relationships uncomplimentary? What do you need to work on? That's not going to fix things long term for you, which I'm sure most of us want, if not all of us want. It won't fix it because it's not about the thing. It's about you. You're not fixing yourself first. You're not addressing your own psychology. For instance, narcissists need nice people with very poor boundaries to take advantage of and to feed off. A lot of them would want a nice person. A lot of them want a stable relationship, but a lot of them especially avoid their own personality and their own psychology. They don't look at themselves. They're constantly looking to have a better life outside of themselves without realizing their own relationship in their choices. Sure, they can pick a nice person, but they don't understand themselves in relation to the person. If you're holding bad values in yourself, then simply choosing something that's healthy will be hard for you to live with, will be hard for you to feel comfortable with. It's the same reason people find it hard to get in shape or basically do anything they really know to be right, and they're constantly kicking themselves and they're frustrated and they always let themselves down. It's not enough to choose. Choosing is a fantastic first step. The point is to act and consciously be aware of your psychology in acting. So much like the last video, link below, it's not about choosing the right thing. It's not about just fixing a wrong thing in your life. You also need to face the consequences of removing a bad thing in your life. How will you now sit comfortably with it, honestly? Ask yourself. Or choosing a better thing in your life or a better group of friends. How will you sit with them to actually get that good stuff? It's about the consequences of such things. You don't just choose. It's not about the external thing. For instance, you leave a bad relationship. Okay, don't forget you need to face the loneliness as well. You need to face, for instance, I want to be free from this job. Okay, now what do I do? There are generally consequences and connected things, and especially most of the time the connected things are your psychology around what you choose. You don't just get to choose. You don't just get to sever the bad stuff. You don't just get to choose the good stuff. You're responsible now for what is left after you leave bad relationships. You're also now responsible for the positive things you choose. That is your own psychology around them. Those things aren't going to feed you. It's a relationship between the positive. It's a relationship between you and the apophatic choice of letting something go or what is not good for you. In simplified terms, it's a 1-2 step. It's the choice of removing or fixing what is bad in your life or choosing what is good, and then also dealing with it, facing your relationship with this thing now or the absence of this thing now. You can't just cut the tree down. You need to deal with its roots. Anyway, something to think about. The things we remove from our lives or the things we choose to go forward that are healthy, it's not enough. Our psychology about it needs to be present. Anyway, I'd like to hear your comments below. Have you ever done the right thing and found it hard because the blind spot was your thinking about it? I wasn't even aware that I needed to think about being a different kind of person or learning different skills to be able to fill that space. Now, there's always these connected things that are usually around our psychology. It's not the things we don't choose or the things we choose. Anyway, let me know your thoughts below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon, and when you do, hit the all to be notified of every video instead of when this thing decides to notify you. And join the real-time conversation with myself and others on Discord. And if you find my videos useful and you want to say thanks, feel free to donate. I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you next time.